other emails in someone's inbox, and the bar is not high.
Yeah, I think when it comes to cold email, I'm sure everyone that's watching here has been on the receiving end of a cold email. None of them are really humorous at all. They're very plain and boring and get to the point of, I want a meeting, I want to sell you something. And everyone on here at the end of this is going to be way more advanced than that. So hopefully we raise the bar overall on all of this, but really at the end of the day, you're still in that top, few percentage that are doing this right. Maybe a silly question, but it could be interesting. When you're mentioning there, tequila shots, or does this maybe work better on, at the end of the week, sending this out versus at the beginning?
I thought you were going to ask the question that everyone asks, which is like, oh, that can't work on CEOs or IT people. Now you asked a question no one else has asked, and I haven't tested that actually. It's that would be an interesting thing to try out. There's some logic there, and that sounds like an interesting split test that I could do, and I could get some PR from that as well. So thank you for the free consultancy.
Well, come back and let us know how it worked. All right? So we can go and test it out as well. But just thinking about it, like, all right, I'm starting to think, Wednesday, it's hump day. Let's go out for some drinks or something. So maybe tequila shots could be interesting, right? And Thursday, Friday, the same. Monday, Tuesday, someone's offering me tequila shots. It's going to stand out even more. Is it something that I react positively, negatively to, or does it just stand out more and I respond anyway? Be interesting to test it and see what happens.
I've had only one actually took me up on the tequila shots, but a few people did ask me to wear the top hat, which I had to go and buy. And luckily, one of my clients was a fancy dress company, so I was able to procure a top hat. But yeah, most of them didn't take me up on the tequila shots, at least not immediately, later down the line. Although, the funny thing is when you write emails like this, is a lot of clients will try and match you. They'll try and match the humor, like they'll have a go as well. And then you're in immediately talking in this informal, irreverent way to each other. And in a weird way, it kind of makes you closer. And that doesn't happen with any other approach. It's kind of a really cool thing that's going on.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you've said that you've used this email a few different times. A couple of questions maybe on this. Do you change up the offer, like the comedy from tequila shots, based on you asked before, maybe CEOs, CTOs, but maybe also like the age of the person, maybe the gender or anything else?
Not really. And here's the thing: for 3 years, when this started working, I didn't change a word for 3 years. Like I was like, I don't. Obviously, since then I've done so much more, and I've wrote completely different emails and different styles. But for 3 years, I didn't change a word, and I just sent it to more and more marketing directors, CEOs, any companies of all different sizes. The only thing that I would say because I always say you can't really pigeonhole someone by job title or by the type of company they work for, because there's going to be really hilarious accountants and really boring people that are really, really awesome brands. So you can't really pigeonhole that way. The one thing I would say where you'd have to be careful is, other than if you know a certain prospect is humorless, obviously this approach wouldn't work. The other one is other cultures and other languages. That's probably where I would worry, because like in certain Asian countries, I've been told, saving face is a lot more important. So being self-deprecating is not looked up to. So I would say in other cultures that this approach may struggle, and in other languages, because humor, I don't know how humor works in other languages. So that's the only areas where I would say I haven't tested it and where you might get into trouble with this. But other than that, I've never noticed any patterns of the types of people that, obviously it doesn't work on everyone, but I can't say like, oh, don't do this on IT people, for example. I can't say that I've found a trend there.
Yeah. And the next kind of question that I had was around, it looked like you had it there in like a print form, letter format. So can you just touch on that and talk to us on that for a moment?
So I was getting great results on email, and I didn't even send follow-ups for years. I'd send one email, and it worked so well that I never had to think about like, how do I make this more efficient? But at one point I was like, how do I get better open rates? And obviously doing follow-ups would have been the sensible thing to do. But instead I thought, oh, I'll send it in the post. So I'll send a letter in the post with an actual sticker containing the ferret. And I would follow that letter up with an email. And in the subject line, it would say, sorry for the ferret in the post. And I would get massive open rates, 80% plus, because that can only be one person. And that worked really well. A lot of people would reply to the letter because it was unusual to get a letter these days. Not many people use direct mail. And if they didn't reply to the letter, the follow-up email would be super effective because loads of people would open it. And then that would be funny. You know, I would make the best second impression I possibly could. So I really like the direct mail email follow-up combination where you send a piece of direct mail or a postcard. That's probably what I would do now. Have something unusual on it that you can reference in a follow-up email in the subject line. That combination is super effective if you need to get the attention of prospects. And you can add a third bit to that where you follow, if they don't reply to the email or the other follow-ups, you can call them and mention the unusual thing that you sent them. So that's a super effective combination.
All right. Have you found that from looking at your email, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there didn't seem to be too much personalization going on, not a lot of maybe research on the target prospect in this case. And we've had a lot of other, people come and talk on this event about personalizing your email. But it doesn't sound like it's necessarily needed when you try this approach. It's
personalized will always get you better response rates. And it's actually something I'm recommending more and more is that you niche down, you go after a smaller number of prospects and that you really want to work with or a really good fit, and you personalize. And I think if you combine this with a really personalized approach, that is probably the most effective method available. So personalization works. I definitely recommend it. You can get away with not doing it as much. The only thing I used to personalize for years was first name. And I was lucky because I'd found this method. But if you wanted to take it further, use the humor approach, combine it with personalization, and you've got something really, really effective.
Cool. Yeah. A really killer email, I think. Killer cold email. I almost lost my train of thought there with the next question.
If you're lazy, though, you can just use humor and only personalize the first name, as I was for many years.
Well, that's what I'm actually thinking. Like this, if you can do this right and you perfect, and I mean, obviously, it's probably testing the different elements to make sure that you're getting the response rates. Because at the end of the day, it is the response rates that you're looking to get. Then, this is very simple to maybe set up. All you need to get is your email first name for people.
And I think this especially works on people that have kind of just switched off to cold email, like they don't respond to them. That's a response I often got was, I never reply to these. But I finally, some people actually said, like in 15 years, this is the first one I've replied to, is that some people are so switched off that they never reply. This is kind of a way in that they haven't seen, and it works for that as well. So yeah, it's definitely fun to play with, and it's more fun to write these as well. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's right. And I think depending on what type of business and stage you're at, but I like the idea of it actually filtering out the people who maybe aren't the perfect client for you, or you don't want to do business with because they don't connect with you. They don't respond or react to this type of humor, which is you're being authentic, you're being real, you're being honest, you're trying to be funny. And maybe that's the type of person you want to do work with. And at the end of the day, those people that respond are probably going to be those people that are your perfect client.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's about using your personality to find out who you're best going to work with. And I always said that because I've got this really silly picture on LinkedIn as my profile picture. It's me saving a basket of kittens and a baby from a burning building, and it's obviously photoshopped. And people say, aren't you worried that people are going to say that, I can't work with him, he's not professional? And I'm like, no, that's the intention. Like my detractors, I have standards too. They're just different standards. And it self-selects. So all those people that don't like that, they can go and work with the other boring people.
I think that's a great approach and a great way to be thinking about this as well, because at the end of the day, you want to be happy in your business. You want to be doing business with people that you enjoy doing business with, and think of your customers and clients at the other end. Like they want the same thing. They want to do business with people that they enjoy doing business with, that they like, and that they will want to, as I think is what you said at the start, they want to actually jump on a call with you. They're looking forward to it. So I think this is a great way to go about it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Cool, John. Well, I think we've covered everything here today that we need, apart from maybe the comedy class and the sketch classes that people might need to do to improve the humor in their business, or in their email, I should say. But at the end of the day, I think this is about being yourself, putting your own, little spice into it. Try to put your own little bit of humor into it, so you can, what you put out there will reflect and come back to you, and that'll hopefully be your perfect clients. Thanks very much for your time, mate. If people want to find out more about you, your business, how do they go about that?
Yeah, on Facebook, if you look for Charm Offensive, and you'll see my Facebook group. Go for the group, not the page. And there's loads of free advice, great content in there. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. If you look up John Bucket on LinkedIn, you'll see the profile picture. That's me rescuing the kittens and baby from a burning building. So either on LinkedIn or on Facebook, or you can email me, john@charm-offensive.co.uk. So one of those three ways.
Awesome, mate. Well, really appreciate it. I encourage everyone else to jump on and check those out, if for nothing else, for a laugh. But I think there's a ton of value just in this session. And if you have got that value out, go and obviously check out everything about John with his LinkedIn, his business, because I think he's doing some great things to actually stand out and maybe even help you stand out as well. John, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much, man. Cheers.